With a world full of epic kite spots to visit, it's easy to forget about the ones close to home. But here in the USA, we have no shortage of selection when it comes to windy beaches. So today we are heading south to the state of Texas and checking out South Padre Island. My name is Crystal Vanessa. Welcome to Destinations. As far as American kite spots goes, this is one of the greats. Much like the kiteboarding hotspot of Cape Hatteras, this barrier island has flat water on one side and waves on the other. And best of all, this is a family-friendly destination that is easy to get to. On this episode of Destinations, we are going to give you all the need-to-know information on kiteboarding on South Padre Island, including when to go, where to kite, and what to bring. The wind blows almost year-round in South Padre Island, and if you've got the right equipment, you can get a session in almost every day of the year. But the best times to come to be sure you get some sessions in are between March and July and between October and December. Spring and summer are prime time with mid-strength wind that is very steady, but you definitely want to bring some larger kites here because the average wind speed is about 60 knots, and that's a steady thermal afternoon wind. The winter wind is usually the strongest, so if it's stronger wind and waves that you want and you're not afraid of slightly cooler temperatures, winter is the best time to come. The average wind speed is about 20 knots and sometimes a lot more if the weather system's coming in. And of course the swell forecast is usually much better that time of year as well. Whatever time of year you visit, you should be prepared to run into light or no wind days. So light wind kiteboarding gear is really helpful here in this spot, and also an open mind and a plan to do something else if the wind just isn't working. There are two main kite spots in South Padre Island, and the one that you choose will depend on if you want to ride in flat water or in waves. Let's start with the Laguna Madre, which is that massive expanse of flat water that's between the island of South Padre Island and the mainland of Texas. Your first session in SPI will probably be at the South Flats, which is the spot closest to town. So in this spot, you will find ankle to waist deep water for miles, and it's butter flat or small chop if it's very windy. The wind here is usually side offshore, but the great thing is it's so shallow that no matter what happens, you can pretty much just pack up your stuff and walk back to the beach. And the worst case scenario is you accidentally made it to mainland Texas, which really isn't that far. If it's waves you want, you've got the whole Gulf side of the island open to you. A great place to get started for your first wave session is Beach Access Road 5, where you can drive right onto the beach. You do have to pay a fee to drive onto the beach, but there's nothing better than being able to pump up and ride from right next to your car. Watch the swell forecast here because you can definitely get some great wave sessions in, especially in the winter months. This is also a great place for a Gulf of Mexico downwinder, but make sure you organize the ride because it gets very remote the further north you go on the island. So there's a ton of beaches to ride all around South Padre Island and even on the mainland of Texas. You definitely want to check out our written spot guide because there we've included information on how to find the spots because they can be a bit tricky to find, and of course beach use fees, parking fees, stuff like that. You can find the link to that written guide by clicking the little eye in the corner or scrolling down to find the link in the description of this video. So let's talk about riding level. This one's pretty easy because here in South Padre Island, it doesn't matter what level of rider you are, this is a spot that will work for you. And this is probably one of the better learning spots in all of the United States because the water is warm, it's shallow, it's flat. It's a great place to bring friends and family that are wanting to get into the sport of kiteboarding without getting intimidated by crazy conditions. There is an awesome kite center that I recommend called Pro Kite, and they have a spot set up right on the beach at the South Flats, and they also have a little pro shop in town so you can go and meet the crew on your way out to the beach. Riding style, pretty much anything goes here, though the best styles of riding are free ride, freestyle, and wave in the winter months. Big air is possible, but with the lighter wind in summer months, it's more like small airs, but it's a perfect place to come and work on your technique and learn how to jump. Foiling can work here, but you'll need like a short mast, like maybe this short, because the water is so shallow you're gonna have to walk out for a long way to get deep enough water for foiling. Whatever your riding style, it's a great place to come and work on skills, work on progression, and get comfortable in very easy conditions. Being on the southernmost part of Texas and just a stone's throw from Mexico, you can expect hot weather basically all year round. In the spring and summer months, that's pretty often uncomfortably hot temperatures, so make sure you've got AC wherever you're staying. You do not need a wetsuit here in the summer, but in the winter months you may want to bring an extra layer on wetsuit just in case, because while it's still pretty warm, the ocean side does get cooler, and if a cold front comes in, you can expect some cooler water and weather temperatures. On the facility side, South Padre Island has basically everything you need for a summer holiday and a kite vacation. So you've got kite schools and kite shops right on the island, and you're still in the USA, so you do even have access to Amazon Prime. The small tourist city of SPI is full of hotels and entertainment for the whole family. So you've got water parks, you've got mini golf, great bars and restaurants on the beach. There's really no shortage of things to do if you're traveling with a group or with family. Now, if you head north on the island, it does get remote quite quickly, so if you're planning to go kiting on the beach, you definitely want to bring your supplies for the day, so snacks, water, sunscreen, stuff like that. If you're kiting on the ocean side, you can actually kite right in the city of South Padre Island, but there are a lot of tourists and beachgoers, so that's recommended for experienced riders only. Always be careful of tourists and people on the beach. The greatest places to ride on the ocean, though, is up near Beach Access Road 5, as I mentioned earlier, and there's a great shower and bathroom facility there, so you can come out of the salty water and get cleaned up before you get back to the party side of the island. A few warnings and cautions for South Padre Island. You definitely want to bring cash with you everywhere you go, especially if you're driving around to kite beaches, because most of them will require a cash-only day use fee. There's a few kite spots that require a paid membership to ride. Now, if you're there for more than a week, that's probably worth it. If not, I would skip it. But if you want to organize a membership, you can head into the Pro Kite shop or one of the other shops on South Padre Island. The main things to watch out for, though, in South Padre Island are sand and tides. So for beach driving, even small cars can handle this, but you definitely want to make sure you're staying on hard pack only so you don't get stuck. And if you're driving through water, you probably want to do a depth check just in case. And keep an eye on the tides, because the worst thing that could happen after your session is coming back and realizing that either your car is washed away or you're surrounded by water and can't really leave. For American kiters, this is a kite spot that you can't miss, but it can be a bit on the sleepy side, so you'll definitely want to bring friends and family so you have a crew to kite with and some people to go out with and explore this breezy beach town. Now, there's a lot more information that we haven't covered in this video, so to find out more about SPI kiteboarding, you can check out the written spot guide. The link is in the description below, or you can click on the eye in the corner to get there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more kiteboarding spot guides and other awesome kiteboarding content. If you have any questions, leave us a comment below or head over to our website and send us a message there, or you can find me on social media. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Destinations.